Hey Manika, can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah, I can.
Hey, okay, so here we are. We're just gonna wait for some of these technical glitches to sort itself out. If anyone's joined us already, hi guys, my name is Nivedita. I'm the founder of Artfover, and today we're doing something very fun. We asked everybody to get wine to join us on this session because we want to experience what an auction is like, but in all with all the fun and not just make it boring and talk about buying and selling and talk about art in a more like academic way, but just like have fun with it. So while the auction is just starting, we are live with the Sotheby's Modern and Contemporary Art sale. And as you can see, they're also still like prepping up. So in the meantime, I have with me Manika. Hi Manika, how are
Hi,
you?
I'm
So
good. How are you?
I'm good. Manika and I wanted to do this together, but unfortunately, we are living in these unprecedented times. And well, Manika and I won't be, I don't know actually, Manika, are you drinking a glass of wine? I'm not, so we can focus on this. But we hope all of you are. And please say hello to us, ask us questions. And I'm going to start off by introducing Manika. So, Manika and I actually went to high school together, and then she studied at Sotheby's in London, and then went on to work at Princeps as a researcher. And she was vice president at Princeps until she very recently has chosen to move on to other things. So, Manika, did you think you'd be doing this while you were at Princeps, like having fun with like a ton of people watching on social media?
Yeah, I guess so. I find that auctions are really fun. I'm sure everyone who works at an auction house thinks the same. It's really thrilling to watch a piece of artwork like go higher and higher. It's really exciting. Um, I wish all of you could be at a live auction. It's really great. So
So,
but yeah, this is a good way to witness an auction as well.
I mean, I guess this is what we have for now, right? With COVID, we can't really
This is
do
what
much.
we have to deal with for
Yeah.
now. This will do it. It's great.
I mean, it's also, I don't think at any other point we'd be having an auction watching party if over in this format. So I guess there's a silver lining.
That's true. I find a lot of people my age in the art world don't really have enough buddies to go watch auctions with. So I'm glad I can do this with you.
Guys, we are really boring and we watch auctions sometimes together. Maybe someone here will hit us up and be like, "Hey, can we join this?" And we are very open to that. We're looking for auction watching friends. So yeah, basically we're waiting for Sotheby's to kind of set up and
So I think
start.
the first and second lot for this auction has sold already. So first one, Nandalal Bose Sati, just went for 9,450 GBP, which is pretty good considering it was estimated between 2 and 3,000. So that
Okay.
did really well. Nandalal is a national art treasure, so getting his works is um, it's a good buy. The next two, Germany, they've also sold as well.
Do
The
we have
second
uh,
one is within the estimate, and so is the third one.
okay, great. Sorry guys, we're just dealing with some tech glitches, but we're also trying to figure the streaming out. Are we on the fourth lot then, Manika?
Yeah, we're on the fourth lot right now.
Okay, great. So actually, one of the things that we wanted to do instead of just focus on talking about the pieces was to talk about a little bit about how things. I mean, as you guys can, you can still watch. You can sort of watch the auctioneer take the bids from the telephone bidders and online bids. I don't think there's anyone in the room, but we wanted to talk a little bit about also how. Um, just like how can you buy at auction, and sort of how you have to first register to buy at auction, and that is the first step. Manika, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
So basically, you need to have your details with the auction house, and some of them take your bank details, some of them phone you, some of them already know who you are, and then give you access. And once you have that access, you're allowed to bid. Um, you usually have a catalog, a book that you can look at many
Which
days prior to the auction, so you can plan out exactly which work you're interested in. A couple who want to buy a bunch, and you can put in your bids via phone, you can email them, you can be in the audience, and then online bidding as well. So we find that a lot of people bid online anyway. So this pandemic really hasn't affected the art world that much, because they're pretty much following the same model as it was before.
So would you say that, I mean, we've like had conversations about this, but like um in terms of like say for a completely new person, right? Like just something like placing a bid, like uh I think one of the main things is to understand like how well you know the artwork. And there are a couple of things when you look at an auction catalog that come in, and one of the very important things is provenance, which is basically understanding the ownership history of the artwork.
Yeah, you need to
So,
make sure that your provenance and authenticity is airtight. A lot of fakes are there in the market, so you need to be very sure you're buying the right thing. Luckily, with an auction house, you have people who have done this homework on your behalf. So usually you can feel safer about bidding at auction, but in general, it's good to do it yourself as well. It gives you a history about the artist, the artwork itself. You know where it's been in time. For example, abroad, some works during the World War II were stolen by the Nazis, so they were considered to be Nazi loot. This is where provenance really became important. So you need to be uh, sure that this wasn't stolen and the ownership is indeed with the person who has the possession.
so I'm just going to interrupt you, Manika. I'm trying to figure if we can get the entire screen on for everyone instead of just the auctioneer, so we can
Yep.
look at it. Guys, sorry, bear with us for a second, and we're going to try to get the entire screen up. Can we get the sound on? Okay, guys, sorry, just bear with us. I know quite a few you have joined us, but we want to just 5 lots are done, and we want to get a better view for you, so it's more exciting to look at the auction with the sound on.
42
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
against you online. Against you on phone is 7 telephone.
Okay, we don't have very great sound, but I think
It's with Alex
something's
at
nothing.
45.
So here she's pointing at people who are on the phones
50.
or on the sites. They're not on
50
camera,
now.
but they're bidding on behalf of other people.
Alex, it's against you, Harry. 55. Thank you, Edward. 55 now. 60. Sorry, online. I took Alex's phone bid at 60,000. Please click again online if you wish to
Manika,
bid.
you have this slot.
Alex's telephone at 60,000.
So this is
now.
the 6th lot, Pilu Pochpanwala. It's the cover
Online
lot,
at 65,
which means it's really important.
65,000 online.
So one of the things that we wanted to
Thank you,
also
Edward.
tell you all
Against you,
about
Alex.
was why
To
lots
the
are more
online bidder
expensive.
for
This is a very
65,000.
rare
Are we all
work
done?
to auction, and
Selling
usually when an auction house
online
puts
at
work on the cover,
65,000 pounds.
means that they're expecting.
Sold paddle number 128.
Okay, great. It got sold to paddle number 128. We don't know who that is. Manika, did you see the closing? What
Lot
what
number
was
7. We have the round number.
Around
I already have a
81,000.
bid at 65,000.
So that's
65,000.
so it did pretty well
At
considering the
65,000.
higher estimate was 60.
65,000, 70,000 now.
okay? Great.
And the
Online
next one,
at 70,000.
this is Ram
Online at
Kumar.
70,000.
He is estimated between
70,000
80
online,
and
75.
120.
Thank you, sir. It's in the room at 75.
Okay, so we're still
It's not
within that.
yours online. Click again if you wish to bid. 80. Thank
So
you.
sometimes two
80
people bid on the same work, and the first bid is
Thank you,
considered
Fergus.
to be
It's
the
with
priority
Fergus
bid.
at
So that's the
90,000.
one that counts.
It's not yours
Also,
online. It's
one of
on the
the
telephone at
one of the
90,000.
reasons
Shall
it's
we say one
important
more,
to
sir?
check the catalog
One more.
before you bid for something at auction is
92, I'll
there's
take.
a very interesting sticker on the back
92 is in the room.
part of the Tokyo
92
Biennale,
in the room.
which means
not
that it is the
95,
executive
thank you.
history
Back
of the work is
Fergus
very
telephone,
important.
98.
So if there were to
With the
be other
telephone
round
room at
at
98.
the auction during auction season at Sotheby's or a different auction,
100,000 pounds with Fergus.
that's the best one. And Biennale exhibition history is great.
It's not yours online.
It is.
It's with Fergus telephone at
It means it's
100,000.
seen.
105. Thank you, sir.
It just reassures people
Selling
that
room at
yeah, it's
105.
pretty
110.
work. It has some importance.
110 now.
If
we
it's
all
ever
done?
published,
Selling then. to
it's
Fergus
good
telephone,
for that
110,000
artist as well.
pounds. Time is up. Sold. Paddle L0025. Thank you, sir.
Sold for 138,000.
Lot
And
28.
The upper ones that-
120,000 pounds.
600
What we're going to do is we're going to share a
700
link
is online. 700
in
now.
case people watching want to open both
Online at 700.
both up. I don't know if I can
now.
share.
750 against you online. Click again if you wish to bid online. It's against you at 750 pounds. 750, 800. Thank you. It's 800 now.
This
online.
work is Lakshma Goods Untitled artwork.
Selling
I think this is a great work for someone who's just starting to collect
It's with Milap's telephone.
has a budget.
900 pounds. It's against you online. It's with Milap's
Yeah.
telephone.
This is also a great way to see that auctions don't always, we read about all these newsmakers, which are like 300 million, 400 million. There is very affordable art available at auction as well.
We have different kind of artists, and they're at different selling points. So you don't have to be intimidated in case you're new to auctions. There's always something out there for everyone.
8,500. Any advance on 8,500? 9,000. 9,000.
Okay, so this work, which people are bidding on right now, the low estimate was actually 10,000 pounds in the catalog. We just started at 8,500. And the bidding has already closed.
10,000. 10,000 pounds.
And lot 10 has also started at 10,000, which is 5,000 lower than the lower estimate. So don't always, if you get an auction catalog, don't always assume that this is out of my budget. If it's within a ballpark range, you should always find out.
Not yours, Gillian. 15, thank you. It's with Gillian at 15,000 pounds. Any advance on 15,000? Are we all done?
Manika, do you want to tell us a little bit about what a consignor is and how can I sell something at auction?
So consignor is basically a person who wants to sell his or her artwork, and they contact an auction house and say, "Can you act as an agent for me? I'll give you this work. I'll settle for a certain amount, which is usually the reserve price, which is the lowest amount you are willing to let go of this work for, and you sell it for me at this price, at least." So you're basically committed to this auction house for this particular auction. And if they do a good job for you, you sell it. If they don't, you can either keep it or sell it at a later time.
£1,000.
Okay, so do you want to explain how this is temporary? Like if I was to sell something via Sotheby's as a consignor or any other auction house, my relationship with them would be temporary.
300 online.
Yes, till that auction is over.
300,000
So if I'm getting some work for my catalog and I have an auction next month,
Are we all done, Harry?
I ask a bunch of people, hey, you want to sell your works at this auction on this date? They say yes, they can sign their works for a certain amount,
So, pattern number
and
7.
at that auction, I either sell it or I don't. And so I'm committed to them during that period.
I have a little interest in my book. I can start at 1800, 1900. 1900 I bid. Any
This
advance
is
on
this
1900,
is
2000
currently that's up for
With my absentee bidder at
sale.
2000. It's not yours online.
For people who are wondering about the different estimates, just keep an eye on the next few lots as well.
Pattern number 114.
So 12 was just sold for
Lot
2,500.
13.
13 has a similar estimate, and 14 has a very different estimate.
1900 is online
So
now. 1900.
the first two are paperwork, the third one is canvas. So quite often a canvas is worth more than a paperwork.
Not yours at 1950 pounds.
Okay, so what we're gonna try and do is get the
Online.
works as well on screen. I think that would be a better viewpoint
Lot
for everyone
number
watching
14.
this,
40,000.
if they haven't connected already. Okay, guys, so if you notice the last two lots are drawings, but this one is a work on canvas. It's very exciting. It's 50,000 to 70,000 pounds.
£40,000. Any advance on 42,000. Are you coming in online? It's not yours at 42,000. Are we all done? At 42,000 pounds. Hammers up. That was unsold.
Unsold. This means that
Lot number
we didn't meet the reserve price.
4,800. 4,800.
You wanted to ask a little bit about what the reserve price is, Anaka?
Reserve price is the minimum amount a consignor is willing to let this work go for. So
At 5,000.
you said it was unsold at 42, right? That means the reserve price was probably a little higher than that.
6,000.
So the lower estimate was 50.
Shall we
Okay.
say one more, sir?
I think we're gonna,
6,500. Thank you.
should we maybe
Back with the
follow
gentleman.
this page?
6,500.
We actually can't get feedback, but I think this might be better.
6,500.
For us
I'm
to
selling.
review.
7.
Yeah.
We'll keep it here.
One more, sir. It's 7 on the telephone. 7,500. Thank you. It's back in the room.
So if you see here,
7,500.
we have, okay, I think this is a much better
I'm
screen.
selling.
We're on the 15th lot. This is a
75.
Badrinath
Well
work.
done. Thank
Here we have the auctioneer, here we have the estimate,
you.
and
Thank you.
here we have the current bid. And
Lots of, and again, a little bit of interest. 4,800, 5,000. 5,000 is with me in my book. 5,500. Thank you, sir. It's yours at 5,500. It's with the gentleman in the room. Are you coming in? 6 online. It's against you, sir. 6,500. It's back in the room. It's against
a
you
couple
online.
of, while this, while the bidding goes on, I think
Can we say one more?
one of the
7,500.
things
It's
we
back
can talk
with the gentleman.
about is we
7,500.
we've moved through a couple of different mediums,
To the gentleman in
which
the
is
room. It's
paper.
not yours. 8.
We moved to some sculpture and now at canvas.
It's not yours online. It's with Ashkan's
Very
telephone.
important to see what medium
Are we all
you
done?
or what you're
At
buying.
£8,000.
When it's
8,500.
from the same artist at the same auction, and you notice that there is a huge price difference between works on paper and works on canvas.
We all done?
And
500.
also,
Battle 1.
sometimes,
Thank
okay, so this is closed at a great price.
17. 18,000 pounds. 18,000. Any advance on 18,000 pounds?
Sakti Burman is
Nine-
actually
19,000.
an artist that does very well at auction,
19,000
and
pounds.
he's actually from Calcutta, where we are
19,000
from.
Fair warning,
And this is
that was unsold.
so unsold. This is something that Menaka was talking about earlier. Like, Menaka, do you wanna tell us what happens when a work goes unsold at auction?
4,800.
Sometimes the
5,000
consignor agrees to a private sale afterwards, and sometimes he decides to keep it
Online
and sell it at a later point.
So if I was to want to buy that Sakti Burman, I could get in touch with Sotheby's.
Yes,
And we
you could get in touch with Sotheby's,
I
then
really like
it's still available if the consignor is okay at
And
at whatever price you want.
7.
does it have anything to do with the estimates, or it could be a completely new
We
price?
usually sell it at around the lower estimate.
7,500 online.
Great.
7,500. Are we all done?
Now
Selling
to,
paddle 16 online. Fair
to
warning.
lot which is a GRC tool. You guys can see the auction happening. What we're going to do is we're going to take a couple of questions right now that we've had from him earlier.
7.5 is online. Paddle
One of them
16.
was that
7.5 is online. You bidding 8. It's 8
for
on
all
the
of you
telephone now.
that
It's
go
not
up for
yours
auction.
online. Apologies. It's on the
Monica, do you
telephone at 8,000. 8,500.
Can you repeat the question?
Who decides the
8,599. It's
for
on the
each work?
telephone at
How do you decide that?
Usually the
9,000
department has
I'm
specialists.
selling on the
They
telephone.
look at
It's not yours
the
online.
artist and what prices their artwork are sold for at auction. The auction house
So
has to publish prices, like you can see over here, and they're public. So it's a secondary market, whereas galleries and private sales, they're a primary market, and they don't have to tell you how much they sold it for.
all done.
So you look at auction prices and you can more or less estimate what a work is going for at the moment.
Against you, 6.5.
So this is, as a buyer, this is very important to know that between the primary market and the secondary market, auctions, the auctions have to publish prices, whereas galleries, dealers, artists don't. And this is why one of the main reasons why the prices are so auction linked is because those are the actual prices that we know because we can all see it happen, and they have to publish it.
1,600.
We have sorry guys, I'm being told that my voice is breaking. I'm trying my best. So we have a question that says, when the auctioneer said earlier, I have an interest of 5,000 for a lot. Is that the minimum increment a new bid can have? Menika, do you want to take that?
The current bid is at 5,000. So they usually have 5,200 or 5,500 as the next bid.
Okay, great. And is there any particular increment value attached with every lot?
They usually have the same breakup at different price points. So if it's in the 800s, they go like, 20, 50, 70, then it becomes 900. But at a higher point, say if it's at 300,000, then they would go at 300,000 and then 350,000 and then 400.
3-2. Selling.
Guys, if you stay with us, you will see that at the start of this auction, there have been lots with smaller estimates. But as we move on, there are some very interesting lots with very large estimates. And if there is a bidding war, that can be very exciting. So, it's one of another reason why sometimes estimates are maybe lower than what they'd imagine what to get. It's also to enable a lot of bidders to put a bid in. Sometimes the higher prices can like throw buyers off. So that's very important to know when you're buying. So this is another auction house favorite. Manika, do you want to tell us something about his
Are we all done?
about these works
Anderson
that
Twitter
are coming up?
at
Hussein?
20,000
Yeah, this particular Hussain or his Mother Teresa series.
sold. Battle 137.
So,
Lot
okay,
20.
this one's gone. But Hussein would often draw a lot of figures, sometimes, usually women that didn't have their eyes drawn in, because he didn't see his mother growing up, because she passed away when she was 2.
At
So
5,500. 5,500 now. Any
Okay,
advance?
cool. Thank you.
6,000.
We have a lot of more questions coming
series
in.
are also another important series. So are the Mother Teresa series.
I have
They do really well. So next couple of lots are.
sir at 6,800. I'm out. It's yours, sir, at 6,800. 6,800 then. I can sell to the gentleman in the room. Fair
Also,
warning.
they do have, it is people in the room. I was
Sold, sir.
mistaken about that.
Thank you very much.
And we have a lot of questions coming in.
2,400. 2,600 now. It's ahead of you. 2,600.
So,
2,800.
um,
2,800.
is there a certain agenda that buyers have in buying certain artists, or are people buying arbitrarily?
I don't think they buy arbitrarily. People usually have their favorites. They do their research, what kind of work they want, which artist, which time period for that artist.
1,000.
Also, budgets if they have any.
Sold. Battle 117.
I think it's. I think like intention of buying a work should be very clear for a buyer. If you like it and you think it's going to look great, that's also intention. But it's very important to know why you're buying a work. It's either because you love it or you think you're getting it at a great price. But
Sir, at 40.
getting a work just
Now,
because, I don't think that happens.
telephone at 48. Ashkan, you coming in?
Manika, who are these people just buying work?
The billionaires.
48,000 then. I'm selling 50.
We don't see a lot of that in India.
Okay, so we have another Mother Teresa work. Something is I find pretty exciting that you can see is like you have like bids. They have bids coming in from the phone as like through phone bidders. They have bids coming in online. They have bids coming in from people in the room. So if you're actually in the room, it can be to sort of be in that atmosphere and watch this excitement around you. Um, okay, great. So a Raza, this is pretty unique Raza. Lot 26, if anyone is following or on the screen. If you're familiar with Raza's work, these are very rare colors. And just in general, the composition of the work is also pretty great. The,
It's back on my
um,
list at 9.5.
it's, as you can see, it's already gone above the higher estimate. I expect it to go up even further. It's a unique piece of work. In fact, the next lot is a bit similar, and we should probably like watch this together and see where the bidding war takes off.
It's 13 with Jillian. It's with Jillian at 13,000.
You'll also notice that the increment changes as the price increases.
15 with Jillian. 15 with Jillian. It's not yours, Milap. It's not yours, Ashkan. It's 15.
Somebody just asked me where my wine is. So, well, I have a non-alcoholic drink so that we can focus on this auction.
It's yours at 15,000. Oh, sorry, apologies. 16. It's 16 now.
So it's double its higher estimate. That's a great buy. Also, something that we wanted to talk about was if you see on your screen that it says property from a private collection, Somerset. For someone who may not know, when you're reading an auction catalog, usually the page has a lot of information, and this tells you where it's coming from. If I remember correctly, This work was bought by the seller directly from the artist, and has then been in a private collection in Somerset all this while, which means it's pretty unseen. And we can also expect this one to do well. Number one, it's a great, similar to the previous one, it's a good work. And secondly, that one did very well also.
It's with the gentleman at 11.
So somebody in the room has it right now for 11,000.
It's ahead of you, Gillian. It's ahead of you, sir. It's with Kate's telephone at 12. 13 with Gillian. It's now with Gillian at 13. No, you're out.
Also, these works, considering what regular prices are for Raza, are very affordable. I think it would be a great addition to anyone's collection to have, or buy a Raza for this price point. And that's probably one of the other reasons why it's done very well. Sold again at almost double its higher estimate.
And I can start here at 15,000, 16,000, 17,000.
I hope I can be heard now.
18,000 is in
Menika, do you want to tell us a little bit? Do you want to answer one of the questions that have come in? It says, if you buy an artwork from an auction house, how long should you wait to put it back in the market?
sold.
It really depends on the artist. I would say a minimum of 3 or 4 years. If you really want a great investment, a return on your investment, I would wait a generation.
7,000, 7.5.
And if do you think there's a standard, or do you think it's like a personal thing?
With my bidder,
I think it's personal. It depends on the artwork really and that artist as well. Some of them can give you a great return in a couple of years, but if you really want to be sure, I would wait longer than that. So
9.5. It's back with Gillian's telephone.
a lot of these works in this auction, they haven't been seen in many years.
And
And
tell
then
us why that would be take.
4 or 5.
It might be interesting to know why it's exciting to like get works which haven't been like seen in a while,
Telephone.
or like
Well-
why do you think buyers choose these works?
Gillian's telephone then at 11.
Well, first of all, they haven't come out in a long time. So it's something they haven't seen. On top of that, a lot of the works that you see in auctions and art fairs and biennales are attended. These events are attended by the same people, more or less. So they know, oh, I've seen this work at that art fair. I saw this at that person's gallery. So they kind of do know about the chain of ownership sometimes. Not that it matters, it's about the artwork, but it's good to know that Hussein made that painting a long time ago and you just have never seen it. So it's a great buy.
65 with Asha.
Like, do you think?
Against you again.
I mean, would you?
Ariana
I'm-
at 70.
I'm so engrossed in the bidding, I've forgotten my question. Maybe I should switch to the Raza that's currently being sold.
50,000.
If you guys see it already, it's met its higher estimate,
Sold.
and it's a great work. We were just looking at like Razas which were like for 6,000 to 8,000 pounds, and now this one just sold for 70,000 pounds. So medium is important.
1,600 pounds. 1,700. 1,700 pounds.
That started at a fairly
Online. It's ahead of you online.
great price
And if you wish
for an
to bid,
auction.
1,800. 19.
So you can see the bids coming in and you can tell whether it's online or in the room.
1,900 then. I'm selling to the online bidder.
Okay, so this is sold to an online bidder. Is it one of you?
2,000. New place.
That'd be exciting. We have someone with us who is also bidding. Well, someone asked Menika, is attending these auctions in person an invite-only event, or can anyone come to view the auction?
2,200.
Usually anyone can come and view it. There's a preview a couple of days later. Um, the auction house does invite people who are already on their list, but it's usually easy to be on the list. You just have to shoot them an email, say, have an interest. Can I come?
24 is online. Paddle number
I
5.
highly recommend doing this if any of the auction houses are having an auction in the city that you're in. You must visit. It's super exciting to actually be there, whether you're buying or not, and just like sort of
All done.
be in the atmosphere. Also, the previews are also very exciting.
Sign again.
I think students we went to when I was doing my master's, we went to every preview we could. It felt a bit like a party. None of us were buying anything, but it was also it's some of the works are museum quality at these
Has been
auctions.
withdrawn.
So you're either seeing them at a museum or they're in private hands. You can't see a lot of these. When we say private hands, I mean it's with a collector and it's in his home. So if it's in private hands, um,
110.
you can't see it. It's very exciting to go to a preview and see all the work, and especially if you're also buying.
It's not yours. It's 100.
So this is, I think,
Even if you have no interest in buying it, it's great to see what people have. Um, they're all free. You don't have to pay anything.
is this
And
the
that's good for listening.
is this the highest uh, estimate that we've gotten now? Is this the largest value work for us in the auction? Oh, it's
I think so far.
2,600, 2,800.
this is a pretty rare artist to be in auction. I mean, we're not. I mean, I'm not very familiar with his work,
Milak's telephone
but
at
doing
3,200.
well.
Are we all done? At 3,200.
So a couple of the lots were withdrawn from the sale. Manika, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
In case you're wondering where 32 and 33 went, they just skipped over. So it's likely they were withdrawn, which means they cancelled the sale before the auction started.
32, new place online. Are you coming in?
Would you like know why?
I don't know the exact reason for these two paintings, but sometimes they feel like there's some inaccurate data or it's not real or there's some issues with it. The seller doesn't want to sell it at the last moment.
So it could be a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Okay, and what
It's
happens?
in the auction house's interest to withdraw something they feel might have problems in the future. So it's best to be on the safer side.
It's with Alex's telephone at 3,000.
Also, I don't know if I mean we're on a relatively smaller lot right now, but some of you may have noticed that some names came up again and again, which was Raza, Hussein, Souza, and these are names that you often see at auction. These are some of the artists who are part of the progressive artists group, and they tend to do very well at auction, super well collected. Usually, their demand is very, very high, and through all the auctions that happen in a year, we are bound to find some great works by these artists.
Alex's telephone, it's not
And
yours.
it's also some artists in India now are considered national art treasures. Manika, do you want to talk a little bit about what a national art treasure is?
So a national art treasure is basically an antiquity. So anything that's over 100 years old. So they automatically become one. And there are 9 other artists that are considered to be the same as an antiquity, and they can't be exported out of the country.
It's against you.
So they're all the Tagores, Rabindranath Tagore, Abhinendranath Tagore, their national art treasures, Nandalal Bose, Jamani Roy, Silos Mukherjee, Amrita Shergill. So they're all national art treasures. As a result, they can't be exported, and works that are abroad, if they come back again to India, they can't go back out.
New place online. It's ahead of you, Jillian.
And
New place online.
as some of you may have already figured out, that
3,500.
certain artists are geographically bound. tomorrow, if you are to buy one of these artists, you can only sell to someone in India. So there is definitely a demand and supply of labor that if you buy an artist, you can't really appeal this with, like, there is no appeal for this work in a global market. It does have its own
You place online.
uh,
4-2
the
online.
price will take a hit. So
Right.
4-5.
So,
With paddle
for example, the
138.
national art treasures, they can't be exported out of India, right? So
4,000.
it's unlikely a person abroad is going to bid on it. And people abroad have
4-8.
bigger, they have deeper pockets. And so they can spend more on a piece of work compared to the average Indian over here.
5-5
So they're not going to bid on a work that can't get to them.
It's with paddle
So as a result,
145.
there are fewer bids, and they don't sell at the same price as others.
New place online.
so would you, I mean,
6,000.
how would you, like, have you had any experience with, like,
I'm selling
someone who wants to buy the work but they can't?
online.
Do you have any interesting
We have to
stories?
tell them that we can't ship it to you outside of
Thank you
India.
very much online for your participation.
So an auction catalog usually has a note on top, so people are reminded.
We have the still life.
And do you want to tell us a little bit about this? There is a very interesting fact about this artist. Some of you may have already noticed. Manika
This person, Lancelot Rivero, is F.N. Souza's half brother. So when I first saw work for him, I thought it was a Souza, and then I checked him up and I realized he was half of Souza, technically.
It's with the telephone. At
I mean, for me, I guess some of you can also see it. There is definitely a certain, like, sense of similarity in the style of Souza's work and the style of his works. So one of the lots that we missed, and I think it was because of a glitch. Manika, I don't know if you caught it, but how did the Gaitonde do?
Click again if you wish.
I don't think it's turned up yet.
3-5 online, Jillian.
That was
3-5
the lot 11 was a Gaitonde.
3-8 on the telephone.
Oh yes, it was
It's 3-8 on the telephone.
sold in between estimate 378,000, and it was estimated between 300 and 500.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so actually, something that's very interesting is that
Sold 3-8.
Gaitonde just broke two Gaitonde works just broke records in the last 2 weeks. We will come back to that after this work. This is a very exciting Jahangir Sabawala work, and let's see where it goes. It's a great composition. The colors are great. Sabawala is another artist who does super well at auction.
70,000. Okay, we've jumped to 70. 75 is with me. 80. 85 is back with me. 90. Thank you, sir.
This is an exciting bidding war.
110 is with me, Harry. You want 120? 120 with Harry's telephone. 130 with Kate's telephone. It's 130 with Kate's telephone. 140 online. 150 with Kate's telephone. 150 with Kate's telephone. Edward, 160 with Edward. It's 160 with Edward. It's ahead of you online. It's with Edward's telephone at 160,000. It's still with Edward at 160. Are you coming in, Ashkan? Are you coming in, Kate? I can sell this. 170 is online now. It's back online at 170,000 pounds. It's 170 online. 180 with Edward. It's against you online.
So if you guys can't hear Ishrat, who's the auctioneer, if you focus on where it says current bid, you can see the increment.
It's back online at 190. It's against you, Edward. It's online at 190, 200. It's with Edward. at
Also, something very interesting to see is that
It's against you.
usually the number of bidders will decrease as the price goes up, because a lot of people will have a cap on how much they're willing to spend on an artwork. It's usually good to do that, where you set a target for yourself. Otherwise, being in the auction room can be very exciting, and you might end up spending more than you originally planned to do. Monica would not have liked that. Very happy being a
As
friend.
an auctioneer, you want people to bid.
They want lots of people to bid, but that's usually the trend that some bidders will fall off.
Are we all
And
Yeah.
this is already 3 times its higher estimate.
not yours online? I'm selling
At some auction houses, they stop serving you drinks when the auction is on because they don't want people to get too drunk and bid for works
paddle
when they don't want it.
L034.
I think somebody got sued abroad, and so I think most auction houses follow that rule.
Yeah, so that one sold for 240,000 pounds, which was over 3 times its higher estimate. And Bhupen Kakkar has also been doing very well at auction. And I mean, for us, it's just exciting to watch this happen
Just giving everybody time to
and take questions. It's usually these works that will show up on your social media or show up in the news, or you're going to read somewhere that, oh, Sabawala sold for this much. But I'm sure some of you have seen that there are a lot of affordable works at auction also.
350. Thank you. Ferguson's telephone at 350,000. It's straight
Okay,
away.
wow. So somebody,
Yeah.
Manika, do you want to talk about how this happened?
So it's likely bids were already put in before the auction started, and they jumped. As soon as the auction was opened, they already got to that level very quickly. So someone obviously wanted it, made sure he put a bid in advance so that he was the winning bid at a certain level.
It's ahead of you online.
So
And
continue to bid while it's live.
by a winning bid.
So the winning bid is the last person who bids, and no one
400.
chooses to pay any higher. So he wins the work.
Now at 400, 450.
So it's already at 450.
Fergus at 450,000 pounds. It's not yours, Astrid. It's not yours.
Also, this is, I just noticed that it says that it's property from the estate of Bhupen Kakkar.
Now with
If you, if you're to start looking at more auction catalogs, you will notice this, that it says that it is from the estate of this artist. A lot of artists, families and descendants convert
500.
their heritage and all their artworks into a trust and an estate.
550 now.
And it's great to have
With Edward.
a work from the estate, because it's not likely to be fake at all. It hasn't really been pre-owned, so it's a rare work. What a rare work! As you can see with the price also, it's
Coming in, Fergus.
it's coming in at a great price right now.
700. It's 700.
I'm going to stop talking so we can watch this.
It's not yours, Edward. Should we say one more? It's 750.
Somebody asked a question that said, "Isn't it cheating to place an advanced bid?"
It's not. So an auction opens many days before it goes live. So live is when it's basically the last 1 hour or last 2 hours of that auction. So this has been up on Sotheby's for a long time. So you can put a bid in at any point.
Yeah. So at some point, the auction will go up on the website. Some people also receive a catalog. You can send in a bid anytime that you want. sending in an advanced bid for a work that you really want is very common, and it's still fair because it's still open to the market. It's not. It has not converted into a private sale, and yeah.
When
Oh,
it
thank
goes live, you know if there are other competing bids. So you know in that last 1 hour whether you're the winning bidder or you're leading in that moment.
Edward
So
at
it's
900,000.
a benefit to place an advance bid because in a way you're reserving your winning bid spot for yourself. So there's a chance that no one else is going to bid for that work and you can get it at a price that's convenient for you.
It's ahead of you online. It's not.
Also, this is maybe it's going to hit £1 million. One of Bhupen, I think the most expensive Bhupen Kakkar work was about 2 million, 2.5 million pounds
920,000.
last year.
950. Back with Edward. Thanks, Edward.
So as you can
950
also see that the bidding has now slowed down.
now.
When prices keep increasing, this happens sometimes because it's a lot of money. So bidders are thinking about how much money they want to
1 million.
spend on the work.
It's 1 million with Edward.
We're now at £1 million.
1,050,000 with Fergus. It's ahead of you, Edward. 1,100,000. 1,100,000.
Like someone said, Bhupen Kakkar is their favorite. We really like his work too.
It's 1,150,000 with Fergus's telephone. 1 million. 1,200,000. It's 1,200,000 now. 1,250,000. Back with Fergus. 1,250,000 is back with Fergus.
Manika, let's have a quick bet. How much do you think it's going to go to?
With Edward. It's £1.5 million with Edward.
Well, it's definitely gone above its upper estimate.
Yeah.
I think maybe
550, Fergus, just for you. Are we out?
1.6.
1,550,000 with Fergus.
I would say 1.7.
But I'll take 1.6.
Let's see where it goes.
I'm just betting my dignity.
It's back with Edward at 1.6.
No
It's at
money.
one-
It's a dignity bet.
It's back with Fergus at 165.
It's at 165 now, Manika.
Dignity lost.
It's 165 with Fergus.
So we'll see who's buying who the drink
We're out.
after this goes to 170.
Fergus's telephone
Sure.
for £1,650,000. Hammers up. Last chance.
Oh no. Is it going to be like in the middle for both of us?
Sold. Channel
No way.
L005. Thank you so
That was
much.
great. Okay, I guess we have to give it to you, Manika.
Or you. We'll share it.
We'll share it.
Sorry, apologies. We just need a little time to dial in.
So this was a very stark jump from being for that price to now 6,000. Bhupen Kakkar, I personally think that this is going to be overestimate. What do you think, Manika?
4,800,
Yeah, me too. Based on the one before. Definitely.
5,500. 6,000. Thank you, sir. 6,000 in the room. It's 6,000 in the room. 6,500 online. It's against you, sir. 7.
So someone asked a question, Manika. How do artists, okay, how do sellers know which auction house is best suited to sell their art at, or well, consign their art to?
In India, people generally sell classical Indian art or modern contemporary art, and all our auction houses here, the international ones and the domestic ones sell that. Though if you have, say, French art or American contemporary art, it would be best to go to the international auction houses since we don't have departments here.
Just to tell everyone that usually auction houses function in a department fashion, which is broken down by the usually the
11 is
place
next if you
where
wish.
the artwork
10
or the
pounds.
artist comes from. And sometimes also when it's international, it's broken up into impressionist and modern and post-modern contemporary. So that would be prior to 1940s and then post 1940s and World War II. And most larger auction houses have,
It's 17 now.
it's not just art, they also
Last chance.
auction collectibles, watches, jewelry, cars. So
Sold.
that,
L002.
that was a great, that went for a great price.
Did.
Yeah, I think like us talking and then it's becoming very much like commentary because like something exciting is happening at the
Not
auction.
42. 2,000. 2,000 pounds.
So
2,000.
guys, we had planned to have this on
400. It's not
for
yours. 400.
about an hour, and but there are a couple of exciting works coming up, and we would like to
400 pounds.
keep doing this. In case you guys are enjoying watching with us, please keep
2,400.
on. Um, Manika, are there any specific works that you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the contemporary ones towards the end.
And I already have a bid in my book.
I
2,000.
feel like auctions focus largely on modern, and
1,000
I
pounds.
want to see how they do contemporary.
It's not yours online. It's in my book at 3,000 pounds. Fair warning.
If
3,000.
Do
you're
you have a favorite, Nivi?
Sold.
sorry,
Do you have a favorite artwork in this auction?
so I really liked the Sabawala, and I really liked the Gaitonde, which we unfortunately missed. So I'm kind of sad about that. Yeah,
And I have a bid already in my book at 50,000. 50,000.
and okay, we have a question, which is if a museum were to sell or auction off a particular work, is that common practice, uh, or for a foundation to auction off the entire collection?
It's not yours.
So auction
70.
museums do sell their works. It's
10 online.
not
It's with Harry.
that common, but usually when they do, it's because they want to acquire something else as well. So they're basically switching up their own collection. I believe the Met is deacquisitioning some works so they can acquire more works made by POC and women artists. So it does happen. Foundations do auction off their collections. However, they mostly buy them.
90,000.
Certain artists' families form their own foundations, and they generally use it to authenticate works. People want to check if a work that pops up is genuine or not, and it's good to double check your work. Sometimes they sell them.
Okay, cool.
95,000.
I hope the person who put in the question has had it answered. Um,
To Astrid. It's against you online. It's with Edward now at 1.
we had a couple more questions.
Now at 110.
It says, does the primary market impact the secondary one and vice versa? This is a very long answer. I don't think it can be answered now, but yeah, of course.
In short,
Hear that.
yes.
In short, yes, it does impact the
Already online.
it's at the end of the day, it's one market. When we use words like primary and secondary, usually secondary markets tend to have works that have had previous owners, sometimes one or more. So it's really got to do much more with ownership than yeah, the prices will always get affected because today the Bhupin Kakkar did super well. So if you were to go to a gallery, it's unlikely that you would get a great work at a cheap price. Also, something that's very exciting is that we had all assumed that COVID would really impact the market, which it has to a very large extent. But the Indian modern and contemporary auctions, which have been happening over the last 2 weeks at Christie's, Kundo's, Asabu, Saffron, some of the works have done super well. They've been very, very successful auctions. And if anyone is interested, we are going to be writing about this soon on Art for Work. But also, like, you should definitely go look up the all auction houses always put up sales results. Please go look at it. And it was very exciting. Like a lot of people asked they they write to us, collectors write to us, and some people ask me like, oh, why do you think this is happening? And I'm not entirely sure. I would like to think like take some time out to like go back and look at
I think people are increasingly buying their works on the phone or online. They don't really feel the need to be there in the room in particular. So this has made no difference to them. They were already buying the same way they are right now.
would you do you think it's also because a lot of people just assumed that prices would be better and so they want to buy now, or they expect the market to like go up, to go like higher
There is
up?
a possibility that people think that other people don't have the time or the money to spend on art in this moment because other industries aren't doing as well as they used to.
And so we have a question. It says, oh, people have been saying hello to us. So hi from, thanks for joining us. And we hope you're enjoying this. Somebody sent a question that says, what happens if I bid at 8:59 and the auction closes at 9 p.m.?
There's usually a timer on a lot, so if you get a bid within the last 3 minutes, the timer goes up for another 3 minutes, and there needs to be 3 minutes of no bids, complete silence, and then it shuts.
So I think we're having some live streaming issues, and it's frozen. This is Zumino work.
Oh, I think they've paused to take a little break.
All right. Okay. You can't tell technology. If whether it's a glitch, anything happens in 20.
The auction is not there, so I think she's taking a little talk break.
Ladies and gentlemen, apologies. It's just going to be about 5 to 10 minutes. We're just taking a very, very short break, and we'll be right back with you starting at
I would take a break too. She's been talking for an hour.
Okay, great. So, guys, we are going to pause this for about 10 minutes. And we're going to be back as soon as Subbase is back. We hope you guys will stay with us. And yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. In the meantime, please do look at the website. This is the current lot that we're on. Okay, so Manika, I mean, you can. We're gonna take a little bit of a break, guys, and just pause our mics and also, in case you know. Okay, yeah, well, they are taking a break. So please feel free to check out our Instagram and our Facebook for updates. We'll definitely be doing updates about this auction and this live, as well as a thought, like an opinion piece on the market and how the auctions have done super well during COVID. So yeah, keep an eye out on our website, please. And we usually do lives on Instagram, so you can also follow us there. We're going to pause for just a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for bearing with us. It's just going to be about another 5 minutes, and then we'll resume the auction. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for bearing with us, and apologies for that short interruption. I'm going to resume the sale now. And we're starting with lot 45. This is Zarina Hashmi. And I have some interest here, 4,000, 4,2, 4,8, 5,000. 5,000 I'm bid. Bid is with me at 5,000. 5,500, it's back in my book at 6. It's ahead of you. It's with my commission bidder at 6. 6.5, I took Fergus first. It's 7 with my commission. 7.5, I took the gentleman in the room. It's 8 back with me. 8.5 with Fergus. It's 9 back with my commission bidder. It's back with my commission bidder. 9.5, 10. Still in my bucket 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Still with me. 24 is next. Still with me at, it's with me at 22. 24 is next. Still in my book at 22,000. 23 I'll take, thank you. It's Fergus's, I'm out. It's with Fergus's telephone at 23,000. 24 is online. It's against you, Fergus. It's online at 24. 25
Can
with
I be
Fergus.
heard?
It's with Fergus's
Yeah.
telephone at 25.
Great.
Click again if you wish to bid online.
This started off very well.
26, thank you. It's back online at 26,000.
Um,
27.
it's
Way above
4
the
times
upper
almost
estimate.
a higher
Not
estimate.
yours,
Yeah.
thank you online. 28. It's
This
back
is
online
another
at
video. Right?
29. It's against you online. It's on the telephone at 29,000. 30.
Can we get the entire webpage, please?
Fergus's telephone. It's not yours online. Thank
Yep,
you online.
there we go. So Zarina is actually one of my favorite artists.
33.
And
Thank you.
do you,
39.
Manika, do you wanna, oh,
34 bid online.
what does that mean that the bid has been withdrawn?
35 is back with Fergus.
That means someone was about to bid and it didn't count.
Next online.
So someone on the phone was probably like, hey, you want to bid to the next level, and prematurely might have put a bid in for the person when that person did agree.
Out. Great. It's still
Okay.
online at 35.
So in case I click on register to bid and I bid on something, and I just do not have £1 million in my
No.
bank account, what do I do?
Counts as a real bid though. It's usually on the phone.
It's sold. Pavel.
So if you're saying I click by mistake on something on the website and then I bid something, I just put in a couple of zeros by mistake because I'm not focusing.
You can't type in the numbers yourself, so you have the next increment. So you can generally only bid at that next point. So you don't jump from like 40 to $1 million.
You online.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that. I think my bank account is very happy.
485. Thank you.
And what happens if I just place a bid by mistake?
To the online.
It counts as a real bid, unfortunately.
And what if I don't have £1 million to pay the auction house?
Well, sometimes they sue you.
Okay, I know you said it with this like lovely smile, but it sounds kind of scary. Guys, be careful when you're navigating the website.
House, you might be banned forever.
It's online at 10. It's ahead of me at 10. It's online.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about Zarina and like her works?
It's with Fergus at 11. It's against you online. Thank you. 12. It's back online at 12. 13. Back with Fergus's telephone at 13. Are we coming in,
No.
Harry? It's ahead of you online.
Can I be heard, Manika?
At 5,000.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So where do you think this is?
At 15.
How much do you think this is going to make? Should we have another mini bet?
Sure.
Fergus at 16. It's
Let's see.
ahead of you, Harry. 16.
I mean, you can't you hedge your bet so well. You're supposed to give me a number right now because you just wait till it gets to a place where the bidding slows down and you're like, now this is what I think it's gonna be.
You can do
Okay,
the
we're gonna have a bet on the next one and see where it goes.
Back online. 20. Still Fergus. 22 now.
47, the next Serena. I think 25.
24 is next.
So you think lot 47 is going to go for how much?
25 is going to go above the upper estimate.
At 23. Online, it's ahead of you at 23.
Okay,
And if you wish to bid, it's with
it's
Fergus.
already above.
Thank you.
So that's kind of cheating, but it's already at 25,000.
5 Fergus.
I think it's going to do 30.
26. Thank you.
You know what? Now I think above 30, 35.
7. It's back with Fergus at 27. 28.
Okay, we'll see what happens.
30 with Fergus.
There are very few women actually
5 is next.
whose art sell at auction.
With Fergus.
That's true. There are very few women artists in general that make it to auction or are represented. I think now with contemporary, there are more than before. Even with the National Art Treasure, there's only one, it's Amrita Shergill.
50. 55.
Do you know if there's a lot of Amrita Shergill works in international hands?
58 I'll take.
Could be. She practiced in Paris
If you wish to bid,
for a good portion, so it's likely that a lot of work is there out of India.
So actually, this is also true for some of the progressive artists. We were talking about one of the Razas and how it was from a private collection in the UK. So a lot of people traveling to India, or while these artists themselves were traveling, a lot of international collectors have these artists' works from back in the day. And I mean, I just think that's a great eye, right? For young collectors, if any young collectors are watching this, you will 100% make mistakes. So please start small and be prepared that you're going to buy things that you don't like, and that's okay. So you start at a price point that you're comfortable with, and definitely go for something that you love.
Yeah.
Manika, do you have any other advice for young collectors?
sell this online.
I was saying you can find the same quality works at different price points. So if you're worried about price, just start low, baby steps, and see if you genuinely like that artist. You may think you like it, and you collect a few works and you realize, maybe this is not really your personal aesthetic. Maybe you like another one. It's all right. You can start again, which is better, in my opinion, than if you buy, something at a bigger price point, you may not be able to buy art as frequently as before.
We all done? 48.
Should we? So at the beginning, we wanted to focus a little bit on just sort of how to read an auction catalog. If any of you are on the link, you'll see that there are a couple of words that can be deterring to someone who's not really used to reading a catalog. And just very simple, right? One of them is provenance. We spoke a little bit about this, but chain of ownership is very important. If two different works from an artist's from the same artist and from a similar time period in their practice are owned by two different people, it's likely that depending on how strong the provenance is, that it will directly affect the price of the work. So finding work which has good provenance
Right.
is very important.
Manika, do you want to talk a little bit about provenance?
The history does impact the price. Well,
8,000 then.
first of all, you look at the provenance to see whether it's airtight and it has been sold by the artist or its gallery to a certain person, and there isn't anything, fishy in between. But sometimes you find two works have basically the same details. Um,
400.
Suppose I have a Sousa paperwork from the 60s, and it's the Sousa head. But then maybe Beyonce has one too. Hers was going to be more important because she's Beyonce, and it has great history added to it now. And I'm just Monica.
Very well explained. Guys, definitely look out for works if they've previously been owned by Beyonce. I mean, taking away the pop culture out of it, but sometimes works will come into auction which has been owned by, say, the best friend of one of these artists, and then you have other what we call documentation, which is basically photographs of the artist with this friend and the artwork, because they like gifted it them on their birthday, or they like went to their studio and picked it up. That is also a very strong or airtight provenance
Yeah,
if the friend is then directly selling it at auction.
because it has that
So
story behind it as well.
5,000 pounds.
exactly. And it is these things are very important to know what the value of your work is. Like another thing that's very crucial is a condition report.
5,000.
Some condition reports are available on the website or in the catalog. Some condition reports you can request for. Very
Lot 50.
very good to read about the condition of the work that you want to buy, which you can't really tell looking at a photograph. And the auction house can also do a viewing for you if you'd like to look at it in person.
Sometimes
We're happy
work
to do that.
are in good condition, great condition. Sometimes they might have a tear in them. Sometimes the paint might be flaking off. It's not necessarily a bad thing if you're new to this, because it proves age, which proves that it has in fact come from a certain time point. You can restore some of them sometimes.
There's one more online. 35. 38. 38.
We have a fun question. Do auction houses have some kind of dramatic rivalry in sales and acquiring art
5,000.
works? Like maybe between Christie, Sotheby's, Barnums, and Phillips? Yeah, probably. It is also business. So everyone wants the best work and the best collections.
I would say it's
And
friend rivalry.
200.
yeah,
Sold. Paddle
yeah,
music.
100%. And I think there's also a lot of good work out there in general.
Yeah,
So
I mean, a lot of these people at auction houses do support each other. They go to each other's auctions, they buy from each other's auctions. If there's a question they need answering, if someone else from another auction house can answer it, people don't hesitate when they ask them.
1.2 million.
So we have an exciting work up.
1 million.
We're going to try and increase the sound of the bidder here, of the auctioneer.
So Nivi went to Christie's Ed for her master's, and I went to Sotheby's Institute. So both these auction houses have traditionally have had some rivalry between them.
And here we are.
1,350,000. It's now 1,350,000. 1,000,004. 1,400,000 pounds.
So if you notice the increment on this work, because the value is so high, is actually £50,000.
At 1 million.
And the next bid, if someone puts it in, will be 1.45.
Goes online.
So let's wait and see what happens.
1,000,000
Another bet.
pounds.
I've been losing miserably, so no bets.
At 1,000,000.
Hey, I predicted well though on our little Instagram game 2 days ago.
At
Yes.
1,400,000. It's not yours on the phone. It's not yours in the room. It's not yours online. Last chance. At 1,000,004. That was unsold.
Oh. Surprising.
Lot number 52. We have the Sanat Thakur.
Happens
And I have
sometimes.
some
It's disappointing.
Start at
Yeah.
1,000.
So another fact
100 and
is
advance?
towards the start of this auction, the work, a lot of the works were from the same estate
for
of
1,000
Patwan Singh.
online
And usually what that means is that
with my commission
an entire collection of someone or like a part of their collection is being sold by them or their family, and they consign the entire collection to the auction house.
sell this.
And it might be a mix, it might just be art, but it might be a mix of different things.
New place on
When collections are huge, there are sometimes single collection auctions as well. So
Selling
you'll
them.
have
to the online bidder for 1,000.
the what was the
It's
last
1,700.
most recognizable collection that was sold?
1,800.
Do you have anything on the top of your head, Manika?
I fe-
Like a
feel like
recognizable name,
Are we all done?
which was a
um,
single collection auction?
1,900. 2,000. 2,000 still online.
I think the Nirav
2,000.
Modi one that everyone knows about him, right?
Yeah, right. The Nirav Modi one was that was done by Saffron Art.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was his entire collection was
Last
sold.
chance online.
But here,
I can sell
there are
this
probably some
for
works of Patwan Singh that are part of this auction,
£2,600.
and there have been multiple works from the same collection.
2,600.
So sometimes collectors do that, where they'll consign their entire collection
3,000.
to one auction house.
The bid is still online at 3,000. £3,000. Selling for 3,000.
There's been a lot of
Sold to battle 145.
there are usually a lot of symbols
Lot 53.
in an auction catalog or on the auction website, and it's very important. Like we have one here.
4,000.
Manika, do you want to tell us what it is?
With the W, I think
4,000.
Yeah.
that means warehouse.
The bid is at
So you would have to pick it up from there.
£4,100.
Right.
Each
So this is
most auction houses have a storage.
Are we all done?
for
At
all
so
of
this is relatively like simple. Some symbols are they
5,000.
may become deciding factors for you to choose if you want to buy an artwork or not.
With the online
And it's
bidder,
always important to reference back. There's always a glossary in the front of the catalog or the back of the catalog, or you can find one on the website to know what they denote.
£1,000.
Yeah, sometimes
It'd be
it's
very
Sold to battle
non-exportable.
145.
Sometimes
Lot 54.
maybe not for art, but they have some animal material or bones in them.
£5,000 I'm bid. 5,000 is in my book.
Sometimes say that bone or
My commission
some type of wood is
£5,000.
extinct or about to go extinct. So there's certain countries that don't allow export or import of those products.
Sold.
I think we've been now talking for over 1.5 hours, so maybe we're going to close this. But before we go, Manika, do you want to tell everyone a little bit what you were telling me about why people sell and the 4 Ds of selling at auction?
Yeah, it's downsizing, death, divorce, and debt. And debt. So
3,000 now.
sometimes
Online,
when you die, you leave your entire collection to your heirs and you can't split it up. You have to sell those works and then the amount is split amongst your heirs. Some people prefer to give it to a museum forever. Some people get divorced and they fight over the work, so they have to sell it for its worth. Some people just need the money, and some people want to switch up their collection.
200 I'm selling for 5.
So while we focus mostly on how to buy, we're going to close with why people sell. and how you can sell as well. You can get in touch with any one of the auction houses, and they'd be very happy to help you. And yeah, Menaka, do you have any
Still online.
do you have any last words?
Still online. 5,500.
I think a lot more people, young people our age, need to
5,500.
get into buying art. Um,
I can tell.
it's not a scary place. It's very welcoming. We need the Indian art market to grow, and you guys are going to help us.
Okay, cool. So, Menaka, thanks a lot for doing this with us
Thank you
and
for
watching this auction with us. And thanks everyone who joined us. I hope it was fun. If you have any questions for myself, for Menaka, anything art related, you can always hit us up on Art4ver's website, or you can reach out to us via Instagram, Facebook. We are definitely going to do an article on the market because it's been very interesting. So you can watch out for that on our website also soon. And yeah, if you have questions for Menaka, please send them to us. We will forward them to her and she can get in touch with you. Thanks everyone for joining. Hope you have a good evening, and please continue watching. The auction isn't actually over, but there's been a bit of a long party. I think COVID has made us antisocial. So bye guys. Thank you. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.